The uniform in the closet. The shirt looked cheaper in Marion's bedroom mirror than it had under the store lights. She stood in front of the dresser with one hand pulling the hem down over her stomach, and the other touching the white plastic name tag near her shoulder. Marion. Plain black letters. No last name, no history. Just a name clipped to a dark blue polo that smelled faintly of cardboard and warehouse air. The shirt was too wide in the shoulders and too stiff at the collar. It made her arms look thin. It made her neck look older. She turned to the side, then turned back as if one angle might be kinder than the other. It was not. From outside came the low crunch of tires on the driveway. Marion went still. For 1 second, she listened without breathing. The engine shut off. A car door opened. Then came the sound she knew too well. Dana's keys already in her hand before she reached the porch. "Oh, Lord," Marion whispered. She pulled the shirt over her head so fast the name tag scraped her chin. Her gray curls flattened, then sprang loose in uneven tufts. She had no time to fix them. "Mom," Dana called from the front door. Marion grabbed the shirt and tried to fold it. The collar would not stay down. The name tag caught on the fabric. She shoved it flat, opened the linen closet, pushed aside a stack of towels, and stuffed the shirt underneath the old yellow ones she never used. "I'm here," she called. Too loud, too quick. She shut the closet door with her hip and stood in the hallway, one hand still on the knob, trying to make her face ordinary. Dana stepped inside with 2 grocery bags hooked over her arms. Marion Brooks was 70, a retired widow living alone in the small Phoenix house where she and her husband had once thought they would grow old together. Dana, her only daughter, was 43 and came by every week with grocery bags, a tired voice, and the habit of checking her mother's house the way someone checked a wound that would not close. Marion loved Dana. But every time Dana opened the refrigerator or glanced at the stack of bills, Marion felt herself get a little smaller. The story began on the day Marion decided that lying felt easier than being saved. Dana paused in the hall. Her clinic badge was still clipped to the pocket of her scrub jacket. Her hair was pulled back tight, and her face had that worn, practical look she carried after work, as if she had spent the whole day keeping other people from falling apart and had not yet found a place to put herself down. "You didn't answer your phone," Dana said. "I was in the bedroom." "You always say that." "Because I'm often in the bedroom." Dana looked past her, toward the closed linen closet. Marion moved away from the knob. Dana's eyes came back to her face. "I brought a few things." "I told you I didn't need groceries. I was already at the store." "You always say that too." Dana gave a tired half smile that did not reach her eyes. "Guess we both have our lines." Marion took one of the bags from her, not because she wanted it, but because standing empty-handed made her feel watched. The bag was heavier than she expected. Chicken, maybe. Apples. Dana always bought apples, as if a bowl of them on the counter proved a person was being taken care of. They went into the kitchen. The kitchen was clean, but thinly clean. Not the warm, busy kind of clean it used to be when her husband was alive, and there was coffee in the pot, something thawing in the sink. A church bulletin held to the refrigerator by a magnet from New Orleans. Now there was one mug drying by the sink, one plate, a small pan on the stove, washed and left there because putting it away felt like admitting she cooked for one. On the table sat a small stack of mail, turned face down. Marion noticed Dana notice it. Dana set the bags on the counter and opened the refrigerator. The small feeling came again, the thumb on the bruise. "I said I have food," Marion said. Dana leaned in, looking at the shelves. "You have mustard, eggs, and something wrapped in foil. That's salmon. How old?" "It's fine." That wasn't what I asked. Marion reached around her and took the grocery bag nearest to the sink. "I ate lunch late." "What did you eat?" "Food." Dana closed the refrigerator door slowly. "Mom, I'm not one of your patients." "I didn't say you were. You use the same voice." Dana looked at her then. Not angry, not yet. Just tired enough that anger would have been easier. Marion turned away first and began putting things on the counter. Spinach, bread, a carton of eggs, though she already had eggs, a pack of chicken thighs, apples, just as she had guessed. "You don't have to spend money on me every week," Marion said. "It's groceries." "Groceries cost money." "I'm aware. I can buy my own food." Dana took the apples from her and put them in the bowl. There were already 2 apples there, softening at the bottom. Dana saw them. Of course she did. She turned one slightly, and Marion hated that tiny kindness more than she would have hated a lecture. For a few minutes, they moved around each other without saying much. Dana unloaded. Marion put things away too quickly. The air conditioner clicked on above the stove and blew dry, cool air over the room. Outside, late afternoon light pressed against the blinds, bright and white and hard. "You look tired," Dana said. "I'm tired. More than usual. That's what every woman wants to hear. I'm not trying to be funny. Neither am I. Dana set the bread on the counter and watched her. Are you sleeping? Yes. At night? Marion gave her a look. When else would I sleep? Dana did not answer right away. Something in Marion's stomach tightened. She reached for the chicken and opened the refrigerator before Dana could do it again. A folded paper slid from under the grocery bag and landed on the floor near Dana's shoe. Marion saw the edge of it. White paper, black boxes, dates, the orientation schedule. For one foolish second, she hoped Dana would not pick it up. Dana picked it up. Marion stood with the refrigerator door open, cold air touching her knees. Dana unfolded the paper halfway. Her eyes moved down the page. Marion could tell the exact moment she saw the evening hours. What's this? Nothing. The answer came too fast. Dana looked up. It doesn't look like nothing. It's just a schedule. For what? Marion closed the refrigerator. Something I'm helping with. What something? A program. What program? Marion wiped her hands on the dish towel, even though they were dry. At the community center. Dana's eyes narrowed a little. The community center. Yes. Which one? The one off baseline. Dana looked back at the paper. This says 5 to 11. They have evening programs. Since when do you volunteer until 11 at night? Since they asked. Who asked? Dana. I'm asking a normal question. No, you're asking like you already decided I'm lying. Dana's mouth tightened. There it was. Too much. Too soon. Marion reached for the paper. Dana did not give it back right away. She held it just out of reach. Not high, not dramatic. Just enough to make Marion feel like a child being denied something sharp. Marion's face warmed. Give me that. What are you doing from 5 to 11? I told you. You told me community center. You didn't tell me what you're doing. They need help sorting donations. Until 11? People work late. Mom? Marion snatched the paper. Dana let go at the last second. The paper bent in Marion's hand. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The kitchen light was not on, but the sun outside was still too strong. It showed everything, the dust on the windowsill, the worn place near the cabinet handle. The small stack of mail Marion had turned face down like that made it disappear. Dana looked at the mail again. Marion stepped sideways, blocking it. Dana saw that too. I'm not trying to get into your business, Dana said. Marion folded the schedule once. You are standing in my kitchen asking me what I do with my evenings. Because you're acting strange. I'm acting like someone who wants privacy. You can have privacy and still tell me if something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Dana breathed out through her nose, a small sound of frustration she probably thought she had hidden. Marion opened the drawer beside the stove and put the folded schedule inside. The drawer stuck halfway as it always did. She pushed it with the heel of her hand until it closed. Dana's eyes moved to the drawer. Marion almost laughed. The whole house had become a body under examination. How's Chloe? Marion asked. Dana blinked at the change in subject. She's fine. School? Fine. Track? She has practice later. She eating enough? Dana gave her a look. What? Marion said. You can ask if Chloe's eating enough, but I can't ask you. That's different. Why? Because I'm her grandmother. And I'm your daughter. Marion opened a cabinet and moved a can from one shelf to another for no reason. I know who you are. The words came out flat. Not cruel, but close enough. Dana stood still for a second. Marion heard the sentence after it left her and wished she could catch it before it reached the room. Dana picked up the empty grocery bags and folded them together. I'm just checking on you. You check the refrigerator, you check the mail, you check the cabinets, you check my face. That's not fair. No, I come because I worry. I know. You say that, but you don't act like you know. Marion turned back to her. How am I supposed to act? Grateful enough? Dana looked hurt then, and that irritated Marion because the hurt was real. It would have been easier if Dana were simply bossy. It would have been easier if she came in with orders and no love behind them. But Dana's love was everywhere. In the groceries, in the phone calls, in the way she noticed the hinge under the sink was loose before Marion admitted it had been that way for a month. Dana glanced down now and saw it. The loose hinge. Marion wanted to close her eyes. How long has that been like that? Dana asked. It's fine. It's hanging. It still opens. That doesn't mean it's fine. It means I can use it. I can come by this weekend and fix it. No. It'll take 10 minutes. No. Why do you do that? Do what? Say no before I even finish. Because I already know what you're going to say. Dana put the folded grocery bags on the counter. Maybe because I keep having to say it. The room tightened around them. Marion felt the old instinct rise in her, hard and familiar. Stand up straight. Keep your voice level. Do not let your child see the soft place. A black woman of her age did not get to fall apart every time life pressed on her. At least, that was how she had lived long enough to become old. Dana had inherited the straight back. She had not inherited the same silence. Or maybe she had, and hers simply came out as questions. I don't need the cabinet fixed today, Marion said. Dana's phone buzzed at her hip. She looked down, then ignored it. Are you sure that's all it is? Dana asked. What? The community center. Marion looked at her daughter for one long second. She could have told her then. The sentence sat somewhere behind her teeth. I don't have enough money. Not for everything, not anymore. She could almost feel how the room would change if she said it. Dana's face would soften first, and that would be the worst part. Then she would start calculating, calling, planning, pulling Marion's life apart, and laying it on the kitchen table like paperwork. Marion could not bear it, so she lifted her chin. Yes, she said. No, that's all it is. Dana nodded, but not because she believed her. Okay. You don't sound like it's okay. I said, okay. You learned that from me. Dana almost smiled, almost. Then the phone buzzed again. This time she checked it. I have to get Chloe to practice. Then go. The words were too sharp. Marion knew it. Dana did too. Dana picked up her purse from the chair near the table. She looked once more at the mail, then at the drawer where Marion had put the schedule, then at Marion. I'll call later, she said. I might be busy. At the community center? Marion met her eyes, maybe. Dana looked away first. In the hallway, she paused near the linen closet. Marion's whole body went quiet. Dana stood there with her keys in her hand, looking at the closed door. She did not reach for the knob. She did not ask why Marion had been standing there when she came in. She only stood a little too long. Then she opened the front door and stepped outside. The door shut softly behind her. Marion stayed in the kitchen until she heard the car start. She should have put the chicken away. She should have moved the mail. She should have taken the schedule out of the drawer and hidden it somewhere Dana would never think to look. Instead, she walked to the front window and moved the curtain with 2 fingers. Dana had not backed out yet. She sat in the driveway with both hands on the steering wheel, looking at the house. Not at the window, not at the door. At the house, the small beige house with sun-faded trim and a crack running through the front walkway. The house where Marion had raised Dana. The house where her husband had died in the back bedroom. The house where every repair now seemed to wait for her with its hand out. Dana saw a problem. Marion saw what was left. After a moment, Dana reversed into the street and drove away. Marion let the curtain fall. The silence after Dana left always had 2 parts. First, relief. Then the thing underneath it. She went to the linen closet and opened the door. The towels looked almost normal, a little uneven, nothing more. She slid her hand beneath the yellow stack and touched the collar of the uniform shirt. The name tag pressed hard against her palm through the fabric. Marion. She did not pull it out. She stood there in the hallway, her hand hidden under the towels, while the groceries Dana had bought waited in the kitchen, and the folded schedule sat in the drawer, and the mail on the table stayed face down like it had not already been seen. The shift. The store lights made everything look awake except Marion. They hung in long white rows above her, bright enough to flatten every face, every aisle sign, every polished square of floor. Even the apples near the front entrance had a shine that looked false. The whole place hummed. Refrigerators, scanners, cartwheels, air vents, a baby crying somewhere near pharmacy, a man coughing hard enough to make 2 people turn. Marion stood at the end of a checkout lane with both hands resting on the counter, trying not to shift her weight too often. The name tag was heavier than it should have been. Marion. It sat on the left side of her dark blue polo, right over her heart, as if the store had decided where she belonged before she had. Ma'am? Marion looked up. A woman in workout clothes was holding up a box of granola bars. She was maybe 30, maybe younger. Everyone under 40 had started to look unfinished to Marion lately, smooth-faced and impatient, moving through the world like their knees had never once argued with them. Yes, Marion said. These are supposed to be 2 for $6. Marion looked at the screen. The granola bars had rung up at $4.99 each. The woman tapped the box with one finger. The sign says 2 for $6. All right, let me see. Marion touched the screen. The screen did nothing. She touched it again, a little harder. Still nothing. Behind the woman, a man with a 12-pack of soda shifted from one foot to the other. His cart had a bad wheel that clicked each time it moved. Marion looked for the button she had been shown during training. Price adjustment, price check, item correction. The words blurred together in the blue and gray boxes. It had seemed clear that afternoon in the break room, when the trainer walked through it with a plastic smile and a laminated sheet. Tap here, then confirm. Easy. Nothing was easy with someone watching. Sorry, Marion said. Give me just a moment. The woman smiled without smiling. Sure. Marion knew that kind of sure. It had a little clock inside it. She found the item correction button and pressed it. A second screen opened, then asked for a supervisor code. Of course. She looked toward the next lane. The young man there was moving quickly, scanning a bottle of detergent, a bag of chips, a birthday card, all in one smooth motion. He had earbuds in one ear, though he was not supposed to. He did not look over. Marion swallowed. "I'll need to check that price," she said. The woman exhaled. "It's literally right there on the aisle." "I understand. Can't you just change it?" Marion could feel the man behind her looking now. She turned the granola bars in her hand, reading the label as if the answer might be printed beside the calories. Her feet had already begun to hurt. Not sharp pain, not yet. A slow, spreading ache under the arches, like someone had filled her shoes with wet sand. She had worn the black sneakers Dana gave her 2 Christmases ago, the ones Dana said were supportive. At home, they felt fine. On this floor, they felt like a polite lie. "Let me call someone," Marion said. She reached for the small radio clipped near the register and pressed the side button. Nothing. She had the wrong button. The woman's face changed by one small degree. Marion pressed another button. A burst of static came through, loud enough to make the baby near pharmacy cry harder. "Sorry," Marion said again. She hated the word by the 3rd time. A voice crackled from the radio. "Front end?" Marion brought it closer to her mouth. "I need a price check on granola bars." "Aisle..." She looked at the box. Nothing on the box told her the aisle. Why would it? "Aisle 12, I think." The woman said, "Oh, it's 10. "Aisle 10, Marion corrected. There was a pause, then the voice said, "Copy." The woman folded her arms. Marion placed the box beside the scanner and looked at the rest of the cart. "I can continue with your other items while we wait." "It's fine." But it was not fine. The whole lane had gone still around the delay. A small problem, barely a problem, had become a stage. Marion scanned the remaining items. Almond milk, frozen waffles, a bag of salad. The scanner beeped each time, sharp and obedient. Beep, beep, beep. Every successful sound felt like a small rescue. When the price check finally came back, the woman had been right. 2 for $6. Marion needed the supervisor code after all. A teenage employee with a lanyard full of pins came over, typed 4 numbers without looking, and walked away before Marion could say thank you. The woman paid, the receipt printed. "Have a good night," Marion said. The woman took the bag. "You too." It sounded automatic, which was a mercy. The man with the soda came forward and put the 12-pack on the belt with more force than necessary. Marion scanned it. "Beep. Long day," he said. She could not tell if he was being kind. "Aren't they all?" she said. He gave a short laugh. She smiled because that was what the job seemed to require. Smile when they were irritated. Smile when they were kind. Smile when you did not know which one they were. By 7:30, the store had settled into its evening rhythm. People came in after work with their badges still on. Children tugging at carts. Older men buying 1 bag of ice and lottery tickets. Women in scrubs. Construction workers with dust on their boots. College kids buying energy drinks and frozen pizzas. The automatic doors opened and closed with a soft sigh each time, letting in flashes of dry April heat from the parking lot. Marion had thought the hardest part would be embarrassment. It was not. The hardest part was how ordinary it all was. No one gasped when they saw a 70-year-old woman in a store polo. No one asked what had happened. No one knew she had once had a desk with a nameplate, a retirement cake with blue frosting, a husband who said they would finally take the trip to Savannah when both their knees were still good enough for walking tours. No one knew that the mortgage statement was tucked under a church envelope on her kitchen table, or that she had stood in her bedroom yesterday pulling the same shirt over her head like a woman trying on someone else's life. Here, she was only slow if she was slow, only knew if she made a mistake, only in the way if she took too long. Her break came at 8. The break room was at the back of the store, past double swinging doors and a hallway that smelled like cardboard, mop water, and old coffee. There was a vending machine, a microwave with splattered sides, 2 round tables, and a bulletin board covered in notices about safety, scheduling, employee discounts, and flu shots. Marion sat in a plastic chair and took off one shoe under the table. Her foot looked swollen through the black sock. She flexed her toes and felt a line of pain run up her calf. Not enough to stop, enough to warn. She had brought a peanut butter sandwich wrapped in foil. She took it from her purse and unwrapped it quietly. The bread had flattened around the filling. She ate half of it without tasting much. Her phone sat face down beside her. She turned it over. No missed calls from Dana. That should have made her relax. It did not. Instead, she imagined Dana calling the house and hearing the phone ring empty. She imagined Dana driving over again, standing in the kitchen, looking at the drawer by the stove. Marion turned the phone face down again. The lie from yesterday had not gone away after Dana left. It had followed Marion into the car, into the store, into this room with its humming vending machine and one flickering light panel. Volunteer schedule. Community center. The one-off baseline. She had always thought lying would feel like doing something. Instead, it felt like carrying something. Awkward, hidden, always slipping. A young employee came into the break room, opened the refrigerator, took out a soda, and left. He nodded at Marion but did not speak. That was fine. She did not want to make friends here. Friends asked questions. Friends learned patterns. Friends noticed when you looked too long at your phone. She ate the second half of her sandwich because she had brought it and because food was supposed to help. Then she put her shoe back on. The break was 15 minutes. It felt like 5 when she was sitting down and an hour when she stood. Back at the front, the store had grown busier. One of the self-checkout machines kept flashing red. A woman needed help with produce codes. A man tried to use an expired coupon and acted as if Marion had personally written the policy. A child spilled a blue drink near the gum rack. Somewhere behind her, someone laughed too loudly. Marion moved between register and self-checkout, following lights, answering questions, trying to keep up. Do I hit pay now? Yes, right there. It says remove item from bagging area. Just lift it and set it back down. I already scanned this. It may not have gone through. Let me check. You work here, right? The question came from a boy in a baseball cap, maybe 12, holding a phone charger. Marion looked down at her name tag, then back at him. Yes, baby, she said before she could stop herself. I work here. He did not notice the word baby. He only held up the charger. Where are the headphones? Aisle 8, I believe. You believe? She pointed, try aisle 8. He went off without thanks. Marion returned to her register and found a woman waiting with a cart full of groceries and no expression at all. Sorry about that, Marion said. The woman began unloading. Beep, beep, beep. A bag of rice, a carton of orange juice, cereal, chicken, canned beans. The bag of rice was heavier than Marion expected. She lifted it wrong and felt something pull in her lower back. Not badly, enough to make her pause. You okay? The woman asked. Yes, Marion said quickly and just caught it funny. She kept scanning. At 9:15, she made her first real mistake. A customer paid in cash. Marion counted the change, then second-guessed herself, then counted again. The line behind the customer grew by 2 people, while she tried to remember whether the register had shown $12.18 or $18.12. The numbers seemed to switch places in her head. The customer, an older man with a gray beard, waited without complaint, which somehow made it worse. Take your time, he said. I've got it, Marion said. She did not yet. She looked at the receipt, then at the screen, then counted the bills once more. Her fingers felt thick. Finally, she handed him the right change. She knew it was right because the drawer balanced on the screen after she closed it. The man said, "Thank you, ma'am." Ma'am. It was polite. It was also a little hill she had to climb each time someone said it. By 10, her feet were no longer warning her. They were simply pain. She started planning her movements by distance. 1 step to the bags, 2 back to the scanner. Do not bend if you can turn. Do not reach with the left if the right is closer. Use the counter when no one is looking. Only a few weeks, as she told herself. A few weeks to catch up on the electric bill. A few weeks to make the mortgage call less frightening. A few weeks to get ahead before Dana figured out enough to come with plans. She did not let herself think beyond that. Beyond that was a place with too many numbers. She was wiping the scanner with a cloth when she saw the hoodie. Gray, oversized, sleeves pulled down over the hands. The girl came around the aisle near cosmetics with a poster board tucked under one arm and a small basket in the other. Her hair was pulled up into a messy puff, and her phone was balanced in the same hand as a pack of markers. She looked half in the store and half somewhere else, the way teenagers did, moving through the world with a private weather around them. Marion knew the walk before she saw the face. Chloe. For a moment, Marion's mind refused it. Not here. Chloe stopped near the end cap of travel-sized toiletries, looking down at her phone. She shifted the poster board under her arm and turned toward the checkout lanes. Then she saw Marion. Everything around them kept moving. The scanner beeped. The doors sighed open. A cartwheel rattled. Someone asked where the batteries were. Chloe did not move. Her eyes went first to Marion's face, then to the blue polo, then to the name tag. Marion had imagined being caught by Dana. She had prepared for that in little angry speeches while driving home, in shower arguments, in the kitchen when the house was empty. She had not prepared for Chloe. Chloe, who still came over sometimes and ate cereal from a mug because Marion had done it once when she was little, and Chloe thought it was funny. Chloe, who called her when Dana said no to something and asked, "Grandma, can you talk to her?" Chloe, who had once told Marion she liked her house because it was quiet, but not the scary kind. Now the girl stood under the store lights with a basket on her arm, staring like she had walked into a room she was not supposed to enter. Marion looked away first. She pretended to straighten the receipt paper. Maybe Chloe would keep walking. Maybe she would understand without making Marion look at her. Maybe love could still have manners. "Grandma?" It was quiet, but Marion heard it. The customer at the end of the lane glanced up. Marion forced a smile toward him. "I'll be right with you." She stepped away from the register and walked toward Chloe. Her feet protested immediately. She ignored them. "Chloe," she said too brightly, "what are you doing out this late?" Chloe did not answer. She was still looking at the shirt. "I needed stuff for my history project," Chloe said finally. "Oh, well, good. Good," as if that covered anything. Chloe lowered her voice. "Grandma, why are you here?" Marion looked toward the lanes. The customer was checking his phone now. No one seemed to care. That almost made it worse. The biggest shame of her life. And the store kept selling batteries and gum. "I'm just helping out," Marion said. "At the store?" "Yes." "You work here?" Marion touched the edge of the counter. "Not like that." Chloe's eyebrows pulled together just a little. "You have a name tag." Marion glanced down as if surprised by it. "Come here," she said. She led Chloe toward the side of the checkout area, near a closed lane, where a rack of reusable bags hung limp from metal hooks. It was not private, not really, but it was away from the direct line of customers. Chloe followed slowly. Up close, Marion could see how young she still was. 17 felt grown when Chloe argued with Dana, when she rolled her eyes, when she talked about college like it was a train she had already boarded. But here, holding poster board and markers, she looked like a child who had found a crack in the wall of the house. "Does your mama know you're here?" Marion asked. Chloe blinked. "Does my mom know you're here?" Marion looked away. The girl had Dana's directness when she was scared. Not angry yet, just direct. "It's temporary," Marion said. "What is this? Working here?" "I said helping." "Grandma." Marion felt the word land differently now. Not sweet, not casual. A callback to who she was supposed to be. She glanced toward the front doors. A couple walked in laughing, the man pushing the cart with one hand. The dry heat came in with them and disappeared under the air conditioning. "I needed something to do," Marion said. Chloe did not believe that. Marion could see it happen. A small closing of the face. "You told Mom it was the community center." Marion's mouth went dry. Chloe knew that because Dana had told her, or because she had heard, or because lies, once released, moved around without permission. "I didn't want her worrying." "So you lied?" "Watch your tone." Chloe's face changed again. Hurt this time. Marion hated herself a little for reaching for authority so quickly, like a coat she could put on over the uniform. "I'm not trying to be rude," Chloe said. "I know. You don't look okay." Marion straightened. That was automatic too. "I'm fine." Chloe looked at her shoes, then at her face. "You're leaning on the counter." "I've been standing a while." "How long is your shift?" "Not much longer." "What time did you start?" "Chloe." "Grandma." The two names met in the small space between them. Marion looked at the basket on Chloe's arm. Markers, glue sticks, index cards, a pack of cheap pens, and a bag of sour candy. Ordinary things, teenage things. Things bought by someone who still thought a school project due Friday was a problem. Marion wanted to send her back to that life. "Your mama doesn't need one more thing tonight," Marion said. Chloe's eyes sharpened. "So don't tell her?" "I didn't say that." "You kind of did." Marion lowered her voice. "I'm asking you not to make this into something before I have a chance to explain." "To who?" "To her." "When?" Marion had no answer ready. Soon would sound like another lie. Later would sound worse. She reached for Chloe's basket, not to take it, just to touch the handle. "I just need a little time." Chloe looked at her hand on the basket. Marion pulled it back. "Is it money?" Chloe asked. The question was so plain it almost knocked Marion loose. She wanted to say no. The word rose quickly, practiced, and available. But Chloe was not Dana. Chloe had not opened the refrigerator or stared at the mail. Chloe was standing in front of her with wide eyes and a school project under her arm. Marion could not quite lie the same way. "It's grown folks' business," and she said. Chloe gave a small, miserable laugh. "That means yes. It means it's not for you to carry. But now I know." The scanner beeped behind them. Once, twice. A customer at self-checkout waved toward the attendance station. Marion looked over. The red light was flashing. "I have to get back," she said. Chloe did not move. "Please," Marion said. The word came out before she could dress it up. Chloe heard it. Marion saw her hear it. Not an order, not grandmother voice, something smaller. "Please don't tell your mother tonight." Chloe's mouth parted, then closed. She looked down at her phone, then toward the doors, then back at Marion. She's going to ask why I'm acting weird. Then don't act weird. That's not how that works. Despite herself, Marion almost smiled. It hurt too much to become a real smile. Just tonight, Marion said. Chloe shook her head a little, not saying no, just unable to make the request fit anywhere inside her. Are you in trouble? No, Grandma. I'm handling it. That's what Mom says when she's not handling something. Marion felt the sting of that because it was probably true. The red light at self-checkout kept blinking. Someone called, "Excuse me?" Marion stepped back. "Go pay for your things," and she said, "I'll help you at self-checkout. I can go to another lane." No, she did not want Chloe in another lane, saying nothing while some stranger scanned her markers. She did not want the girl out of her sight yet, not with the secret loose between them. They walked back toward the front. Marion helped the self-checkout customer first, a bagging error. 2 touches on the screen and it cleared. Easy that time because Chloe was watching and Marion needed one thing to look easy. Then Chloe came to the machine with her basket. She scanned the poster board. It was too big and awkward, and Marion held one side steady for her. Beep. Markers. Beep. Glue sticks. Beep. Index cards. Beep. The sour candy would not scan. Chloe tried once, then again. Here, Marion said. Their fingers brushed when she took the bag. For a second, neither of them looked at the screen. Marion scanned the candy. Beep. Chloe paid with her phone. The machine printed a receipt she did not take until Marion tore it loose and held it out. Thank you, Chloe said. It sounded wrong, too polite, like they were pretending in front of the machine. You need a ride? Marion asked. Chloe looked at her. I drove. You have your license 6 months and think that means something. You were the one who told Mom to let me practice on the freeway. That was before I saw how you park. Chloe's face softened for half a second. The old rhythm almost returned. Then her eyes dropped again to the name tag. It left. I won't tell her tonight, Chloe said. Marion held the receipt between them. All right, but you have to. I will. When? Marion looked toward the doors. The parking lot outside was dark now except for the lamps shining down on windshields and cart returns. Her reflection floated faintly in the glass. Blue shirt, name tag, gray hair, shoulders held too carefully. When I figure out what to say, she said. Chloe did not like that answer. Marion did not either. But the girl nodded. She took the receipt, folded it around nothing, and put it in the bag. At the door, Chloe turned back. For a moment, she looked exactly like Dana at 17. Same eyes when she was trying not to cry in front of somebody. Same stubborn mouth, same belief that if she stared hard enough at a thing, it might become honest. Marion lifted one hand. Chloe lifted hers back, barely. Then she walked out. The automatic doors opened and closed around her. Marion returned to the checkout lane. A customer had already started unloading a basket. Toothpaste, canned soup, a rotisserie chicken in a plastic dome that steamed lightly under the lid. Sorry for the wait, Marion said. The woman nodded without looking at her. Beep, beep, beep. Outside, Chloe crossed the parking lot under the white lamps, her hoodie loose around her, the poster board tucked against her side. She reached her car, opened the door, then stopped. She turned and looked back through the front glass. Marion saw her. Chloe was too far away from Marion to read her face clearly, but she could read the stillness. The girl had come in for markers and candy and had left with something she could not put down. Marion forced herself to keep scanning. Beep, beep. The customer asked for paper bags. Marion reached for them, missed the first one, and took the second. Her feet hurt, her back hurt. The name tag pressed against her shirt each time she leaned forward. Through the glass, Chloe finally got into her car. Marion watched only long enough to see the headlights come on. Then she turned back to the belt, to the soup cans and the chicken and the next item waiting for her hand. By the time Chloe got home, Dana was in the kitchen, still in her scrubs, rinsing a coffee mug she had probably forgotten there that morning. You're late, Dana said. Store was busy. Dana looked over her shoulder. You okay? Chloe set the plastic bag on the counter. The poster board bent slightly at one corner. Yeah, Dana turned off the water. Why are you so quiet? Chloe looked at the bag. The sour candy had slipped to the bottom. The receipt was folded around itself in her pocket. Nothing, she said. The word came out small, and for the first time, it sounded like something she had learned. The offer. Marion knew dinner was not really dinner when Dana asked twice what time she was coming. The first text had come at noon. Can you come by around 6? I'm making chicken. The second came at 3:30. 6 still good? Marion had stared at that one for a while before answering. Yes. One word, safe enough. By 5:40, she was in her bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed with one shoe on and the other in her hand. The house was quiet around her. Too quiet, maybe. the kind of quiet Dana would notice and call lonely if Marion ever let her say it out loud. Her uniform shirt was not in the closet anymore. She had moved it that morning from under the yellow towels to an old tote bag in the back of the bedroom closet, then moved it again to the bottom drawer of the dresser beneath winter scarves she did not need in Phoenix. Every hiding place felt good for an hour and foolish after that. The schedule was still in the kitchen drawer. The bills were still face down on the table. None of those things could follow her to Dana's house, she told herself. But that was not true. They were already coming with her. She put on the second shoe, tied it slowly, and stood. Her lower back gave a small complaint. She waited for it to pass before reaching for her purse. In the hallway mirror, she checked herself the way she had checked herself before church years ago, when her husband was alive and they still arrived early enough to sit in their usual pew. She wore a cream blouse, dark slacks, small gold hoops, and lipstick Dana would not accuse of being too much. Her hair was brushed back. Her face looked tired but respectable. Respectable mattered. At Dana's house, the driveway was already full of heat from the day. The sun had dropped low, but the concrete still held it. Marion parked at the curb instead of pulling in behind Dana's car. She did not like being blocked in. It made leaving feel like asking permission. Dana opened the door before Marion knocked. That was the second sign. "You made it," Dana said. "I said I was coming." "I know, I just come in." Dana stepped aside. The house smelled like roasted chicken, laundry detergent, and the lemon cleaner Dana used on everything when she was stressed. The kitchen light was too bright. A stack of mail sat near Dana's own counter, but neatly, clipped together with a black binder clip as if debt behaved better when organized. Marion noticed the scuff marks by the baseboard, a pile of Chloe's school papers on a chair, a laundry basket half hidden near the hallway. Dana's life was not as controlled as she liked to pretend. That should have comforted Marion. It did not. Chloe was at the table with her phone face down beside her plate. Her hair was pulled up, and she had on the same gray hoodie from the store. When she looked up and saw Marion, her face did something quick and guilty before settling into a smile. "Hi, Grandma." "Hey, baby." Marion kissed the top of Chloe's head. The girl smelled faintly of coconut hair cream and the sour candy from the night before. Marion wanted to ask whether she had told her mother. She wanted not to ask more. Dana watched them from the stove. "You want water, tea?" Dana asked. "Water's fine." "You sure? I have that ginger tea you like." "Water's fine, Dana." Dana opened a cabinet and took down a glass. Chloe looked at her plate. The table was already set for 3. No extra plates, no extra voices from another room. Dana had kept it small. That was another sign. She wanted no distractions, no one to soften the things she meant to say. Marion sat in the chair facing the window. She always chose that chair. It let her see the street. Dana brought the water and set it beside her. "You look nice," Dana said. Marion looked down at her blouse. "For chicken? I just said you look nice." "Thank you." The word sat there, stiff and well-behaved. Dana served dinner, chicken thighs, roasted sweet potatoes, green beans with too much garlic, because Dana liked to pretend garlic made vegetables more interesting. Marion took a little of everything, not too little, not enough for Dana to notice. Chloe pushed her green beans around with her fork. "How's school?" Marion asked. "Okay." "Just okay?" "Yeah." "Your project come out all right?" Chloe's fork stopped. Dana looked at Chloe. "What project?" Chloe picked up her water. "History." "You didn't tell me you had a project." "It's not a big one." "You needed supplies for it?" Chloe looked at Marion for half a second. Marion kept her eyes on her plate. "Yeah," Chloe said. "Just poster board and stuff." Dana's gaze moved between them. There it was again, the little opening in the wall. "What time did you get home last night?" Dana asked. Chloe shrugged. "I don't know, like 10. You said the store was busy." "It was." Marion cut a piece of chicken, though she was not ready to put it in her mouth. Dana set her fork down, not loudly. That would have been easier. Dana never slammed things when she wanted answers. She got quiet and practical, which made everything sound like paperwork. "Mom," Dana said, "how late are those volunteer shifts?" Marion kept cutting. The knife made a small squeak against the plate. "I told you, it depends." "On what?" "On what they need." "What did they need last night?" Chloe looked at her phone, then away from it. Marion put down the knife. "Did you invite me over to feed me or question me?" Dana sat back. "I invited you because I wanted to see you. You saw me Sunday, and you looked exhausted Sunday. I'm 70 years old, and I'm not going to look 29. That's not what I mean. You keep saying that because you keep acting like every question is an attack." Marion took a sip of water. It was cold enough to hurt one tooth. Chloe stood suddenly. "I can clear..." "Sit down," Dana said. Chloe sat. Marion looked at Dana. "Don't snap at her." "I'm not snapping. You are. Dana pressed her lips together. She looked tired already, and they had barely started. For a moment, no one spoke. The air conditioner came on, and a loose paper on the counter lifted at the corner. Dana picked up her fork again, then put it down without using it. Okay, she said, I'm just going to say this. Marion looked toward the window. The street outside was washed in orange light. A boy on a bike rolled past, slow, one hand on the handlebar, the other holding his phone. Dana said, I think the house is getting to be too much. There it was. Not the uniform, not the lie, the house. Marion turned back to her. My house is fine. I didn't say it wasn't fine. You just said it was too much. I said I think it's becoming too much for you to handle alone. Chloe stared at her plate. Marion folded her napkin once across her lap. The cabinet hinge is not a crisis. It's not just the hinge. What else? Dana hesitated. That hesitation told Marion there was a list. What else? Marion repeated. Dana glanced toward Chloe, then back at Marion. The yard, the air conditioner, the mail you don't open, the food you say you have when you don't, the phone calls you miss, and whatever you're doing at night that you don't want to explain. The room went still. Chloe's fork touched the edge of her plate with a tiny sound. Marion looked at her granddaughter. Chloe did not look back. So you did bring me here to question me, Marion said. Dana leaned forward. I brought you here because I can't keep pretending I don't see what I see. Then stop looking so hard. I'm your daughter. Yes, not my landlord. Dana flinched. Marion hurt herself and did not take it back. Dana rubbed her forehead with 2 fingers. The gesture looked older than 43. I'm not trying to take anything from you, Dana said. No? No. Then why does every sentence out of your mouth sound like you're measuring me for a room in your house? Chloe's eyes lifted. Dana went quiet. Marion had guessed right, that was the terrible thing. She saw it in Dana's face before Dana answered. We do have the spare room, Dana said. Marion gave a small laugh. Dana kept going, more quickly now, as if she had to get through the words before Marion stood up. I'm not saying forever. I'm saying maybe for a while. Or maybe we look at selling the house before things get urgent. You could stay here, save money, not worry about repairs, and selling the house. I said look at it. You said selling. I said maybe. Marion pushed her plate away. The chicken smell suddenly seemed heavy. That house is paid for in years, she said. Dana's expression softened despite herself. Mom, no, don't mom me like I'm confused. I know what the house means. You don't. I grew up there. You left? Dana's face changed. Chloe looked between them. The sentence had come from somewhere low and mean, and Marion knew it. Dana had left because that was what children were supposed to do. Go to college, get a job, make a life. Marion had wanted that. She had prayed for that. She had bragged about that. Still, the word sat there. You left. Dana picked up her water and took a sip. Her hand was steady. That made Marion angrier than if it had shaken. I'm not going to apologize for growing up, Dana said. I didn't ask you to. You kind of did. Marion looked away. Dana leaned forward. I am talking about now. Not 25 years ago. Now. You are alone in a house that needs work. Prices are going up. You don't tell me what's going on. You act like I'm supposed to wait until something happens and then just be grateful you didn't bother me sooner. Marion's pulse moved in her ears, slow and hot. You already decided, didn't you? No. You came up with your little plan. It's not a plan, it's an option. Your option. An option that keeps you safe. There it is. What? Safe. Marion said the word carefully. You say safe when you mean small. Dana's mouth opened, closed. Chloe whispered, Grandma. Marion did not look at her. Dana's eyes shone now, not with tears exactly, but with pressure. I mean safe. You mean watched. I mean not lying on the floor for 3 days because nobody knew you fell. The table went quiet. That one reached the room differently. Marion stared at Dana. Dana looked as if she had not meant to say it that way, or had meant it and hated that she had to. I'm not lying on any floor, Marion said. You don't know that. Nobody knows that. That's not an answer. It is if you understand life. Dana laughed once, short and tired. You keep doing that. What? Making it sound like I'm naive because I don't want you by yourself with no plan. I have a plan. What is it? Marion reached for her water and found the glass empty. Dana noticed. Of course she did. She started to stand. I can get my own water. Dana sat back down slowly. Marion stood. Her hip was stiff from the chair, but she moved carefully so no one would see. She took her glass to the sink. Dana had one of those refrigerator filters with a blue light, but Marion used the tap. The water came out lukewarm. Her reflection in the dark window above the sink looked faint and doubled. Behind her, Dana sat at the table with her hands folded. Chloe sat with her shoulders tight, as if one wrong movement might make both women turn on her. Marion drank half the glass standing there. Dana said more quietly. I'm not saying you have to decide tonight. Marion turned. Dana kept her voice soft, reasonable. I'm saying we should talk about it before it becomes an emergency. There was no cruelty in it. That was what made it unbearable. If Dana had been cruel, Marion could have thrown cruelty back. If Dana had been careless, Marion could have dismissed her. But Dana sat there in her work pants and tired face, offering a bed in her house and calling it love. Marion heard something else. A smaller room. A drawer for her things. Dana knocking before entering, but still owning the hallway outside. Chloe lowering her music because Grandma was sleeping. Decisions made in another woman's kitchen. Her own house emptied, staged, photographed. Sold to people who would paint over the wall where her husband had measured Chloe's height in pencil. She put the glass down. I'm not one of your problems to manage, Marion said. Dana went still. Chloe's eyes moved to her mother. Dana's voice, when it came, was quiet. That's what you think this is? Marion knew she had hurt her. She also knew she could not stop now. Stopping would mean the hurt mattered more than the danger. You have a job, you have Chloe, you have your own bills. You don't need me in the middle of all that. You don't get to decide what I can handle. You're trying to decide what I can handle. Because you won't tell me the truth. I told you. No, you didn't. Dana's voice rose, then she pulled it back. You give me pieces. You give me whatever keeps me quiet. Then I find out later there was more. Marion looked at Chloe. The girl's face lowered again. Dana saw the look. What? Dana asked. No one answered. Dana's attention sharpened. What was that? Nothing, Marion said. Chloe said nothing at the same time. The word landed badly. Dana looked from Marion to Chloe. Okay. She pushed back from the table. Dana, Marion said. No, it's fine. But it was not fine. Dana walked to the counter and began gathering plates, though half the food was still on them. She moved too efficiently, the way she did when she needed something in her hands before her mouth went too far. Chloe stood. Mom, I got it. You don't have to, I said I got it, Chloe. Chloe sat down again. Marion picked up her purse from the chair. Dana turned from the sink. You're leaving? I think that's best. We haven't finished talking. You finished enough. Dana let out a breath. Mom, please, sit down. The please should have softened something. It did not. Marion walked toward the living room. Dana followed her, not too close, but close enough. I'm not trying to take over, Dana said. Marion stopped near the front door and turned. You want me to sell my house? I want you to consider it. You want me in your spare room. I want you somewhere I know you're okay. That is taking over. That is being your daughter. No, Marion said, like that is you being scared and calling it help. Dana's face hardened then, just enough. And this is you being stubborn and calling it independence. The words hit clean. For a second, Marion had no answer. Chloe stood at the edge of the dining room, one hand on the back of a chair. Marion adjusted her purse strap. Thank you for dinner. Mom. It was good. Please don't do that. Do what? Act polite when you're shutting the door in my face. Marion opened the front door. The evening air came in warm, with the smell of dust and pavement cooling too slowly. Dana said, You're making me find out everything after it's already dangerous. Marion turned back. Dana looked exhausted now. Not controlling, not bossy, just exhausted. That almost made Marion waver. Almost. You don't know everything, Marion said. I know enough to be worried. That's your problem. Dana's face went still. Marion regretted it immediately. But regret did not stop her from stepping outside. Chloe moved like she might follow, then stopped when Dana looked at her. Marion walked down the short path to the curb. She could feel both of them watching from the doorway. Her shoes clicked against the concrete. Her back hurt. She kept her shoulders straight. At the car, she fumbled once with the keys. Only once. She got in, started the engine, and did not look back until she had pulled away from the curb. In the rearview mirror, Dana stood in the doorway with one hand against the frame. Chloe stood behind her, smaller in the light from the kitchen. Marion turned the corner before either of them moved. Inside the house, Dana stayed at the door long after the car was gone. Chloe came up beside her, quiet. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Dana said, without looking away from the empty street, What do you know that I don't? Chloe's hand tightened around the back of the chair. She did not answer. The letter. The first time Dana used her mother's key without knocking, she was 26 and carrying a sleeping Chloe against her shoulder. Back then, it had not felt like trespassing. It had felt like coming home. The key had been on her ring ever since, its brass worn smooth along one edge. Marion had given it to her years ago with a practical little shrug, saying it was only for emergencies. A locked-out day, a broken pipe, a fall, though Marion had not said that word. Back then, Dana had been young enough not to hear the things her mother left out. Now she stood on Marion's porch with the key in her hand, and the word emergency had stretched until it covered almost anything. She's probably just not answering, Chloe said behind her. Dana looked over her shoulder. Chloe stood halfway down the walkway in the same gray hoodie she wore too often. Her arms folded tight across her chest, even though the evening air was still warm. She had not wanted to come. Dana had not exactly asked. I called 3 times, Dana said. Maybe she's in the shower. For 40 minutes? Chloe looked toward the street. Maybe her phone's on silent. Then we check, and if everything's fine, we leave. Dana heard herself say it like that. Clean, reasonable, already justified. The kind of tone she used when a patient refused a follow-up, and she needed to sound calm instead of irritated. Chloe did not answer. Dana slid the key into the lock. The door opened with a small, dry click. Inside, Marion's house was cool and dim. The blinds were partly closed, and the late light came through in thin stripes across the carpet. The place smelled like lemon dish soap, old wood, and the lavender sachets Marion kept in drawers long after they stopped smelling like anything. "Mom," Dana called. No answer. She stepped inside. Chloe followed but stayed near the door as if the house might accuse her of something if she came in too far. "Mom?" The silence had shape. Dana knew this house too well for silence to be neutral here. She knew the hallway where she had run as a child, even after Marion told her not to. The kitchen where her father used to peel oranges in one long strip. The back bedroom where he had died. Where Marion still kept one drawer of his t-shirts because they're good cotton. Everything looked neat. That made Dana more uneasy, not less. "She's not here," Chloe said. Dana turned. "Her car's gone?" "I didn't see it." Dana walked back to the front window and moved the curtain. The driveway was empty. Her first feeling was relief. Her second was anger. "She said she was staying home tonight," Dana said. Chloe looked down. Dana saw it. That quick lowering of the eyes, that small retreat. "What?" "Nothing." Dana let the curtain fall. "Don't do that." "I didn't do anything." "You did exactly what your grandmother does." Chloe's face tightened. "Can we just go?" "No." "Mom." "No, Chloe, something is going on." Dana moved toward the kitchen before she could decide not to. If she slowed down, she might have to admit what she was doing. Moving made it easier to call it checking. The kitchen looked the way it always did now. Clean counters, one mug by the sink, a fruit bowl with 2 apples softening near the bottom. There were groceries in the refrigerator because Dana had bought them. The bread was still on the counter in the same twist tie she had used 2 days ago. That bothered her. Not the bread itself, the stillness of it. She opened the refrigerator. "Mom," Chloe said from the doorway. Dana ignored the warning in her daughter's voice. The chicken was there. Unopened, the spinach was there too, already wilting at the edges. The eggs were on the middle shelf. The foil-wrapped salmon was gone, which meant Marion had eaten something or thrown it away. Dana did not know why that small unknown made her throat tight. She closed the fridge. "See?" Chloe said. "She's fine. She just went somewhere." "Where?" "I don't know." Dana turned to her. "Do you?" Chloe's mouth opened, then closed. Dana waited. The air conditioner clicked on. The vent above the kitchen table rattled for a few seconds before settling into a hum. On the table sat a stack of mail. Most of it had been pushed under a grocery catalog. Deliberately, badly. The corner of one envelope stuck out, the red block letters visible, even from where Dana stood. Dana looked at it. Chloe saw her look. "Mom, don't." Dana did not move yet. That was the moment when she could still leave. She knew it. She could still say Marion was grown. Marion had the right to privacy. Marion could be difficult and still not belong to anybody. She could still walk out and wait for her mother to call, even if waiting felt like leaving a pan on the stove and pretending smoke was not coming under the door. Chloe stepped closer. "Please don't." Dana looked at her daughter. "What do you know?" "Nothing." "Stop saying that. I don't know anything." "Then why are you scared?" Chloe's eyes shone with frustration. "Because you're going through her stuff." Dana looked back at the table. The mail sat there. Paper, envelopes, ink. Not a body on the floor, not a broken hip. Not Marion unconscious in the hallway. Still, Dana felt the same hard pull in her chest. She picked up the grocery catalog. Under it were bills. Electric. Water. A medical statement. A credit card envelope unopened. And beneath those, half hidden but not enough, a thick envelope from the mortgage company. Dana's hand hovered over it. Chloe whispered, "Mom." Dana picked it up. The envelope had been opened already, not sealed. That made it worse somehow. Marion knew. Marion had seen it. Marion had folded it back inside and buried it under things. Dana slid the letter out. Her eyes went first to the bold heading, then the amount, then the date, Then the phrase that made everything in the kitchen seemed to pull back from her at once. Notice of intent to foreclose. She read it again because the first time did not feel real. The words did not change. Chloe was very still. Dana lowered herself into the chair without deciding to sit. The chair made a small scraping sound on the floor. When did she get this? Dana asked. Chloe did not answer. Dana looked at the date on the letter. 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks. She thought of Marion at dinner, sitting in Dana's house with her cream blouse and straight back, saying the house was fine, saying Dana wanted to make her small, saying thank you for dinner like she was leaving a church luncheon. Dana read the amount again. It was not impossible. That was what made it worse. It was not a number from another planet. It was a number that could maybe be talked through if someone had said something early enough. Maybe deferred, maybe negotiated, maybe not. Dana did not know. That was the point. She had not been given the chance to know. Chloe moved to the other side of the table. Is it bad? She asked. Dana looked up. Did you know about this? No. Chloe, I didn't know about that. About what then? Chloe looked toward the hallway, as if Marion might appear there by force of guilt alone. Dana stood. What did you know? I saw her, Chloe said. Dana waited. At the store. What store? Chloe rubbed her sleeve between her fingers. The big one off 43rd, by the pharmacy and the garden center. Dana did not understand at first. Shopping? Chloe shook her head. The kitchen went very quiet. Dana's eyes moved to the letter in her hand. No, she said. Chloe's face crumpled a little. She had a name tag. Dana set the letter down because she did not trust her hand. When? Tuesday. You saw her Tuesday. Chloe nodded. And you didn't tell me. She asked me not to. Dana stared at her daughter. Chloe was 17, tall enough to look Dana almost in the eye now, old enough to drive, to apply for colleges, to roll her eyes at reminders, young enough to believe keeping a promise and doing the right thing might still be the same. She asked you not to, Dana repeated. She said just for that night. And this is Thursday. I know. You knew your grandmother was working at night and hiding it from me, and you didn't tell me. Chloe's eyes flashed. I didn't know about the house. That's not the only part that matters. I know that. Do you? Chloe stepped back from the table. Don't talk to me like I did this. Dana laughed once, sharp and small. I'm trying to figure out what you did. I didn't do anything. Exactly. Chloe's face changed. Dana heard it. Too hard, too quick. But she was already inside the anger now, and anger gave her somewhere to put the fear. You are 17, Dana said. You don't get to help adults lie themselves into danger. Chloe's mouth opened. For a second, she looked younger than 17. Then something hardened. You don't listen, she said. Dana blinked. Excuse me? You don't listen, you decide. Dana stared at her. Chloe's voice shook, but she kept going. You walk in and start checking everything, the fridge, the mail, the cabinets. You act like if you can find the thing that's wrong and you can just fix it and then everybody has to be okay. Dana felt heat rise under her skin. I'm trying to keep her safe. You didn't even ask why she didn't want to tell you. I did ask. No, Chloe said. You asked until she had to defend herself. Dana looked at the letter on the table, the red print, the date, Marion's name above the address. You think this is okay? Dana asked. No. You think this is safe? No. Then what are you saying? Chloe pressed her lips together. She looked like she wanted to cry and was furious about it. I'm saying maybe she was scared of exactly this. Dana stood there with the foreclosure letter between them. For a moment, she could see herself from the outside, in her mother's kitchen, holding her mother's private mail, arguing with her daughter about trust, while the house hummed quietly around them. She saw the wrongness of it. She saw the necessity, too. They sat side by side, and neither canceled the other out. She could lose the house, Dana said. Chloe looked down. Do you understand that? This isn't some little pride thing. This is not her being private about a doctor's appointment. This is the house. I know. No, you don't. That house is... Dana stopped. She did not know how to finish. That house was where her father's laugh still lived in certain corners. That house was where Marion had saved every school picture, every program from every choir concert, every birthday card Dana had ever given her when she was small enough to write in purple marker. That house was also cracked tile, old pipes, an air conditioner 1 bad week away from giving up, and a woman too proud to say she was drowning. Dana sat back down. Chloe stayed standing. Neither of them spoke for a while. On the counter, the bread sat untouched. Dana noticed the twist tie had been wrapped 3 times, tight enough to dent the plastic. Marion's way. Always closing things like they needed to last longer than they could. Dana picked up the medical statement next. Chloe made a sound. Mom, I'm looking. You already found the letter. I'm looking. That's not yours? I know that. But she opened it anyway. The balance was smaller than she expected and bigger than Marion would admit. Past due. Second notice. A line about payment arrangements. Dana put it beside the mortgage letter. Then the electric bill. Open, late fee. Water, late. Credit card. Unopened. She did not open that one. Some thin thread of restraint remained, useless and late. Chloe watched her make the small pile. You're making it worse, Chloe said. Dana looked at the bills. No, this was already worse. The front lock turned. Both of them froze. Dana stood so quickly the chair bumped the table. Chloe's eyes went wide. The door opened, and Marion stepped inside carrying her purse against her side. She stopped in the entryway. She was wearing her cream blouse, not the blue uniform shirt. But Dana saw the tiredness first. It was in the way Marion held one shoulder a little higher, the way she paused after stepping in, as if the doorway itself required effort. The house light fell across her face and showed the lines she usually managed to soften with lipstick and posture. For 1 second, Marion looked only confused. Then her eyes went to Dana, then to Chloe, then to the kitchen table. The letters lay spread under the overhead light. Marion did not move. Dana held the foreclosure notice in one hand. No one had to explain what had happened. Marion's face changed slowly, not into shock, but into something flatter, older. The look of a person who had heard glass break in another room and already knew what piece it was. She looked at Chloe first. That was the part that hurt Dana more than she expected. Not at Dana, who had opened the mail. At Chloe. Chloe's eyes filled. Grandma. Marion lifted one hand slightly. Not enough to stop her. Not enough to forgive her. Just enough to say there would be no comfort in this moment. Then Marion turned to Dana. Her voice, when it came, was very small. You had no right. Dana looked at the letter in her own hand. The paper had bent where her fingers gripped it. She lowered it, but she did not put it down. And you had no plan, Dana said. The breaking point. Marion did not reach for the foreclosure letter right away. That was what made the room worse. She stood at the kitchen entrance with her purse tucked under one arm, her cream blouse wrinkled at the waist, and her eyes fixed on the paper in Dana's hand. She did not rush forward. She did not snatch it away. She did not cry. She went still. Dana stood beside the table. Chloe was near the sink, shoulders tight, one hand gripping the edge of the counter. The bills lay spread across Marion's kitchen table. Mortgage letter, electric bill, water bill, medical statement, unopened credit card envelope. The grocery catalog Dana had lifted off them was pushed aside like a bad excuse. You had no right, Marion said. Dana looked at the foreclosure notice in her hand. The paper had bent where her fingers held it. And you had no plan? Dana said. The words stayed in the kitchen after she said them. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Marion stepped fully into the room. Put it down. Mom, put my mail down. Dana set the foreclosure notice on the table, but she did not step away from it. Marion's eyes moved over the papers, each amount, each red line, each due date. Her life had been opened and arranged under the kitchen light like evidence. You opened all this? Some of it was already open. That is not what I asked. Dana looked at the table. I opened the medical bill. The others, you opened my mail. I was trying to understand what was happening. You broke into my house and opened my mail. I used the key you gave me. For emergencies. Dana's jaw tightened. This is an emergency. Marion laughed once, small, dry. So that makes it yours?
No.
You sure? I didn't come here to take anything from you. You came here and took my privacy. Dana looked down. Good, Marion thought. Then she hated that she thought it. Chloe shifted near the sink, then Grandma. Marion turned toward her. Chloe stopped. The girl looked younger in Marion's kitchen than she had at the store. The gray hoodie was too big on her. Her hair was pulled up, but loose curls had fallen at her temples. She looked like a child who had opened a door and found adults bleeding on the other side. Marion's anger moved toward her, then broke apart before it arrived. You told her, Marion said. Chloe swallowed. I didn't tell her until she found the letter. So you told her. She already knew something was wrong. You gave me your word. Chloe's face tightened. You shouldn't have asked me to. The sentence hit clean. Dana stepped in. Don't put this on her. I didn't. You did. You asked a 17-year-old to keep something like this from her mother. And you brought a 17-year-old to dig through mine. Dana flinched. The room went quiet again. Marion moved to the table and began gathering the papers. She stacked them too quickly. Electric bill over water bill. Medical statement under the mortgage letter. She did not look at the amounts. She knew enough of them already. Dana put a hand over the foreclosure notice before Marion could take it. Marion looked at her daughter's hand. Move. Not until we talk. This is my house. I know. My table. I know. My name on those envelopes. I know that too. Then move. Dana did not. Chloe took one step closer. Mom. Dana kept her eyes on Marion. If you put these away, we're right back where we were. We? Yes, we. There is no we. Dana's face changed. Marion saw the hurt and stepped around it. No we when the bills come. No we when I'm the one signing papers. No we when the bank calls. No we when I'm deciding whether to pay the light bill or hold off another week on the doctor bill. Dana stared at her. There, too much, too close to truth. Marion reached for the letter again. Dana did not let go. Then why didn't you tell me? Dana asked. Marion pulled the paper free and folded it once. Because I don't need you standing over me counting what I failed to pay. Dana's eyes went wet, but she did not cry. I'm not counting failures. That is exactly what you're doing. I'm looking at deadlines. You're looking at me like I'm the deadline. Chloe made a small sound. Dana stepped back from the table. She pressed both hands to the edge of the chair, grounding herself. Okay, Dana said, then let's talk about facts. Marion almost smiled. Of course, Dana and her facts. Dana and her clean lists. Dana and her steady voice that made everything sound like a file could be opened, sorted, solved. Facts, Marion repeated. Yes, the letter says there's a deadline. We call the mortgage company tomorrow. We ask what options there are. Payment plan, extension, housing counselor, whatever they have. We are not calling anyone. Mom. No, then I'll call. They won't talk to you. I know that, but I can call and ask general questions. I can find out what programs exist. I can talk to someone who knows this better than we do. We do not need strangers in my business. You already have strangers in your business. The mortgage company is in your business. The utility company is in your business. The store that called me tonight would have been in your business if you went down there alone. I did not go down. Not yet. The words came out harder than Dana seemed to mean. Marion's body went tight. Dana noticed. I didn't mean... Yes, you did. No, I meant... You meant exactly what you said. Dana stopped. Marion folded the foreclosure notice again, making the crease sharp. You've been waiting for it. Dana looked at her. Waiting for what? For me to slip. For me to forget something. For me to fall. For me to become helpless enough that you can finally be in charge. Chloe's face broke open. Grandma! Dana did not speak. For a second, Marion felt the sentence hanging between them like something she could still pull back. Then Dana's expression changed. Not into anger. Something quieter. You really think that? Marion looked at the bills in her hand. I think you like fixing things. Dana gave a small laugh, but there was no humor in it. I think I've been waiting for you to trust me before you collapse. The kitchen stilled. Outside, a car passed slowly on the street. Its headlights moved across the blinds and disappeared. Marion could hear the refrigerator humming, the house settling, Chloe's uneven breathing. Dana's words should have made Marion softer. They almost did. Then Marion saw the foreclosure letter in her own hand, folded but not hidden, and the softness shut down. You had no right, she said again. Dana nodded once. Maybe not. Marion looked at her. Dana wiped under one eye with her thumb, annoyed at the tear more than ashamed of it. But I'm not sorry, I know. The sentence was quiet. It still felt like a door closing. Marion gathered the papers against her chest. Then we're done. No, we're not. I am. Dana looked past her toward the hallway. Where are you going? Marion did not answer. Dana saw it before Marion said anything. No. Marion turned. Don't. You're not going to work. Marion looked back slowly. Excuse me? You just got home. You're upset. You haven't eaten. You are not going back to stand under those lights for 6 hours. Marion's mouth tightened. You hear yourself? Yes? No, you don't. You are standing in my house telling me where I can go. Dana drew in a breath. I am asking you not to. You said I am not. Chloe stepped forward. Grandma, maybe just tonight, so not you too. Chloe stopped like she had been touched by something hot. Marion saw it and hated herself, but she could not pick up that hurt right now. If she did, the whole room would come down. Dana looked at Chloe, then back at Marion. She's scared. She can join the club. That's not fair. None of this is fair. Dana's voice dropped. What did you eat today? Marion stared at her. The question was so plain, it irritated her more than the foreclosure letter. What? What did you eat today? I ate. What? Food. What food? Marion looked at the counter, then the stove, then the sink. Coffee, maybe toast. Crackers in her purse, unless they were still in the car. She had meant to eat something before leaving for work. But Dana had been here, holding the bills, and the whole house had turned into a room with no air. Enough, Marion said. Dana's face changed because she heard the space inside the word. Mom. Don't. Please don't go tonight. Marion looked at Dana. The please was worse than an order. If Dana had ordered, Marion could fight. If Dana begged, Marion had to see what her leaving would do. So she looked away. I have a shift. You can call out. I don't call out. You've worked there a few weeks, and I need them to keep giving me hours. The sentence left before she could stop it. Dana heard it. Chloe heard it too. The room changed again. Dana said, "How many hours are you working?" Marion held the bills tighter. Enough. That word is doing a lot tonight. Marion turned toward the hallway. I don't have to answer this. Yes, you do. No, Dana, I don't. Dana stepped closer. If the house is at risk, if you're working nights, if you're skipping meals. I didn't say I skipped meals. You couldn't tell me what you ate. Because I don't report to you. Dana's voice sharpened. No, you just make me guess until somebody calls me from a store. Nobody called you. Not yet. That silence after those two words was different. Not yet. It sat there, ugly and possible. Marion turned away first. She walked down the hall to her bedroom. Dana followed but stopped at the doorway. She did not come in. That tiny respect made Marion angrier than intrusion would have. It meant Dana knew where the line was and had crossed it earlier anyway. Marion put the bills on the bed. Her bedroom was dim, lit only by the small lamp near the dresser. The cream blouse she had worn to Dana's dinner lay over the chair from 2 nights ago, still not hung up. Her good shoes sat near the closet. The bed was made, but the quilt was crooked on one side. She opened the bottom dresser drawer. Winter scarves, old church gloves, a plastic bag with spare buttons. Underneath, the blue uniform shirt. Dana saw it. Marion felt her daughter see it. For a moment, neither woman spoke. The shirt looked worse here than it did at the store. Flatter, cheaper, more personal. Marion took it out. Mom, Dana said from the doorway. Marion unbuttoned the cream blouse. Dana turned her head slightly, giving privacy without leaving. That almost broke something in Marion. Almost. You don't have to prove this, Dana said. Marion pulled one arm out of the blouse. I'm not proving anything. You are. The sleeve caught at Marion's wrist. She tugged it free. I'm going to work. Dana's voice shook now. That is not the same thing. Marion pulled the blue polo over her head. The collar scraped her cheek. The fabric settled badly across her shoulders. She smoothed it down, then reached for the name tag on the dresser. Her fingers fumbled with the clasp. Dana noticed. Marion turned slightly so her body blocked the view. I can drive you, Dana said. No. At least let me drive. No. Then I'll follow you. Marion turned. You will not. Dana stood in the doorway, one hand against the frame. What do you want me to do? Go home. I can't. You can. Dana shook her head. I can't pretend I don't know. Marion got the name tag pinned. The plastic sat crooked. She left it that way. Chloe appeared behind Dana in the hallway. She looked at Marion in the uniform, then at the bills on the bed. Grandma, she said. Marion picked up her light jacket from the chair. Don't start. I'm not. Good. Chloe's eyes filled. Marion put on the jacket even though the Phoenix night did not call for one. It covered part of the uniform. Not all. Just enough for the walk to the car. Dana moved back as Marion came into the hallway. The house seemed to hold its breath. At the kitchen table, Marion stopped and looked at the empty spaces where the bills had been. She had carried them to the bedroom, then left them on the bed like they could not follow. They're staying here, Dana said. Marion looked at her. The papers, Dana said. You don't need to take them to work. I know that. Do you? Marion almost answered, then did not. She walked to the front door. Dana followed. Chloe followed behind Dana. At the door, Dana said, If you leave right now, I'm coming back tomorrow. Marion put her hand on the knob. This is my house. I know. No, Marion said, turning back. I don't think you do. Dana looked at her mother in the blue shirt, half hidden under a light jacket, one hand on the door of the house she was trying so hard not to lose. I know whose house it is, Dana said. I just don't know why you'd rather lose it alone. The sentence landed in Marion's chest before she could block it. For 1 second, she could not move. Then she opened the door. The night air was warm and dusty. She stepped outside. Her car was at the curb. The walk to it felt longer than it should have. She kept her shoulders straight. She could feel Dana and Chloe watching from the doorway. Halfway down the path, she realized she still had her purse, but not her car keys. She stopped. The keys were on the hallway table, behind her. For a moment, she stood with her back to them, furious at the smallness of the mistake. Then she turned around. Dana had already picked them up. She did not bring them to Marion. She stood in the doorway, holding them. Marion walked back up the path. Give me my keys. Dana held them out. Their fingers touched this time. Only for a second. Marion took the keys and stepped back. Please, Dana said. Not loud, not dramatic. Just that. Marion looked at her. Dana looked tired, angry, scared, and younger than she had any right to look. Chloe stood behind her with one hand pressed to her mouth. Marion wanted to say something that would leave them both standing. Something that would not be cruel. Something that would not give up. Nothing came. So she said, lock the door when you leave. Then she went to the car. This time she did not fumble the keys. She got in, started the engine, and pulled away. In the rearview mirror, Dana stood in the doorway. Chloe came up beside her. Neither of them waved. Marion turned the corner and drove toward the store. Phoenix at night did not really cool. It only changed color. The sidewalks emptied. Gas stations glowed white and red. Cars moved in clean lines past strip malls, closed offices, and restaurants still bright enough to suggest other people had eaten dinner. Her stomach made a small, hollow sound. She kept driving. At the store, the parking lot was half full. She parked far from the entrance because the closer spaces were taken, and because by then she was too tired to circle. She sat in the car for a moment with both hands on the wheel. The blue shirt scratched at her neck. Her feet hurt before the shift even began. The name tag pulled lightly at the fabric each time she breathed. She could go home. The thought came quietly, not as defeat, not exactly, just as a door that had not locked yet. Then she saw Dana in the doorway again, the keys in her hand, Chloe behind her, the papers on the bed, the spare room in Dana's house, the word realtor. The way everyone looked at her as if standing upright were something temporary. Marion opened the car door. Inside, the store lights were white and steady. The air conditioning hit her skin. The machines beeped. Carts rattled near the entrance. She walked to the front, clocked in, and took her place at the register. A customer set down a basket of groceries without looking at her. Marion reached for the first item. Her hand paused on the edge of the counter. For a moment, she could not remember what she had eaten that day. Then the scanner light blinked red, waiting. Marion picked up the item and passed it over the glass. Beep. The second shift. The first thing Marion scanned was a bottle of orange juice. It was too cold against her hand. She passed it over the glass, waited for the beep, and set it into a plastic bag that would not stay open. The customer stood on the other side of the belt, looking down at his phone, one thumb moving quickly. He had not looked at her once except to ask whether the store still had rotisserie chickens. Marion had told him she did not know. She should have known. She worked there. But the chickens were near the front, under the heat lamps, and she had walked past them twice without seeing them. She had walked past a lot of things that night without seeing them clearly. Orange juice, cereal, a frozen pizza, a box of diapers. Beep, beep, beep. The scanner seemed more awake than she was. Her feet hurt before the shift had started. By the second hour, the pain had moved upward into her calves and knees, then settled across her lower back like a hand pressing there. The blue uniform shirt scratched at the side of her neck. She had buttoned it wrong in the car and fixed it in the employee restroom, standing under a light that made her face look pale and drawn. The name tag still sat slightly crooked. She had noticed it at the register and left it alone. A woman came through with 2 cartons of milk, a bag of rice, and a pack of paper towels. Marion reached for the rice and felt the pull in her back before she lifted it. "You can leave that one," the woman said. Marion paused. The woman gave her a small, careful smile. "It's heavy." "I've got it." She pulled the bag across the scanner. It did not beep. She shifted it, looking for the barcode. The plastic was slick. Her fingers could not get a good hold. She turned it once, then again. The woman said nothing. Somehow that made Marion more aware of the waiting. Finally, the scanner caught it. "Beep." "There," Marion said. The woman nodded, still with that careful smile. Marion hated the kindness. She hated that it felt like being seen. The woman paid and left. Marion put one hand against the counter for a second, just enough to rest the heel of her palm. Not leaning, not needing, just resting. The lane light stayed on. Another customer came forward. The store was not busy enough to hide in. That was the problem with late shifts. The rush came in waves, and between them there was too much room for the body to announce itself. The white lights buzzed softly overhead. The refrigerators hummed at the far wall. The self-checkout machines spoke in cheerful, recorded voices, asking people to place items in the bagging area, remove items from the bagging area, wait for assistance. Marion had started hearing those voices in her head even when no one was near them. She picked up a package of chicken and dragged it over the scanner. "Beep." Dana's voice came back to her. "What did you eat today?" Marion set the chicken in a bag. She had said enough. That was not a meal. That was not even an answer. It had been a door shut in Dana's face because Marion had not been able to remember toast or crackers or coffee without feeling caught. Dana had heard it too. So had Chloe. Marion reached for the next item, a can of beans. Beep. Another can. Beep. Her stomach made a small, hollow sound. She pressed her lips together. There were crackers in her purse. She knew that now. She had checked at her break and found a pack folded into the side pocket. But when she had opened it, one cracker had broken into powder and stuck to her fingers. She had eaten 2, and wrapped the rest back up because the break room had been too bright, too public, and her mouth had been too dry. She told herself she would eat when she got home. Home. The word brought up the house, the bills, the letters on the bed where she had left them. Dana standing in the doorway with Marion's keys in her hand. I just don't know why you'd rather lose it alone. Marion scanned a loaf of bread. Beep. Dana had always been good at saying a thing just close enough to the wound. Not polite enough to ignore. Not cruel enough to fight cleanly. Marion asked the customer if she wanted the receipt. The woman said no. Marion threw it away, then realized she had thrown away the next customer's coupon with it. She had to reach into the small trash bin beside the register and pull the paper back out. Sorry, she said. The customer shrugged. Marion smoothed the coupon against the counter, though the corner had already bent. At 10:40, the self-checkout light flashed red. She walked toward it, not too quickly. Quickness had become expensive. A man had scanned a pack of batteries twice and was trying to remove one from the screen. The machine blinked. Assistance needed. Sorry, he said. I messed it up. That's all right. Marion touched the screen. Remove item. Confirm employee code. Her fingers hovered over the keypad. The code was 4 numbers. She knew it. She had typed it all night. 4. Then what? She stared at the blank boxes. The man shifted beside her. Is it not working? It's just slow. The machine was not slow. Marion cleared the screen and started again. 4, 7, 2, 1. The machine accepted it. The duplicate disappeared. There you go, she said. Thanks. She turned back toward her lane. The floor seemed too bright. Not spinning, not exactly. Nothing dramatic enough to let her call it something. The white tile stretched in front of her, reflecting the ceiling lights in soft, flat patches. The aisles looked farther away than they should have. She stopped near the bagging station. Her left hand found the counter. A voice came from somewhere behind her. Ma'am? Marion did not turn. The voice came again, closer this time. Ma'am, you okay? She opened her mouth. The old answer was there, ready, familiar. The answer she had given Dana, Chloe, customers, neighbors, nurses, herself. I'm fine, she said, but the end of it thinned out before it landed. Her hand slipped on the counter. Not far, not enough to fall. Enough. Her knee bent before she told it to. The room dropped slightly. She caught herself against the bagging shelf, knocking a roll of receipt paper to the floor. It bounced once and rolled under the machine. The man with the batteries reached for her elbow. Marion pulled back by instinct. Don't. He froze. She tried to straighten. The floor shifted again. This time she could not make it into nothing. A young employee from the next lane came over. He was 19 at most, with a lanyard full of pins and a face that did not know how to hide concern yet. Ms. Marion, I just need a second. You should sit. I said a second. But he had already dragged over the small stool from behind customer service. Another employee came. Then a woman in a store vest. Too many faces, too many soft voices. The exact kind of attention Marion had spent weeks trying to avoid. No one argued. No one believed it either. The woman in the vest crouched a little, not low enough to insult her, but low enough to meet her eyes. Let's get you to the break room. I can walk. I know, we'll walk with you. That kind of sentence was hard to refuse. It gave a person the shape of dignity while quietly taking the decision away. Marion wanted to tell her she knew the difference. Then she shifted her weight and felt her right leg tremble. She let them walk beside her. Not hold her. Beside her. Through the double doors, down the hallway that smelled like cardboard, mop water, and old coffee, into the break room with the humming vending machine and the microwave with splatters along the inside. They put her in a plastic chair. She hated the chair. It was low and hard and public. The woman in the vest handed her a paper cup of water. Marion took it with both hands. What happened? The woman asked. Nothing happened. You got dizzy? A little? Did you eat? Marion looked at the cup. The woman's face softened, and Marion disliked her for it, though the woman had done nothing wrong. I'm going to call your emergency contact. Marion looked up. No. We have to. No, you don't. Ms. Marion. I said no. The woman hesitated. Marion saw the decision being made behind her eyes. Kindness and policy, concern and paperwork. I'm sorry, the woman said. I have to. Marion closed her eyes for 1 second. Not because she was weak. Because she could not stop it. Dana arrived in less than 20 minutes. That told Marion something she did not want to know about how fast fear could drive. She heard her daughter before she saw her. Not yelling. Dana did not waste breath that way when she was scared. Just quick steps in the hallway, rubber soles on tile, then the break room door opening. Mom? Marion looked up. Dana stood in the doorway in jeans and a t-shirt under a cardigan she had probably grabbed without checking. Her hair was pulled back badly, not in the tight work way, Her face had no makeup. She had come as she was. Chloe stood behind her, hoodie sleeves pulled over her hands. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Dana's eyes moved over Marion. The blue polo, the crooked name tag, the paper cup, the plastic chair, one shoe partly untied. Marion straightened. "I'm fine," she said. Dana's mouth moved, but nothing came out. That frightened Marion more than any lecture would have. Chloe stepped into the room. Her eyes stayed on Marion's face. "Grandma, I'm all right. You don't look all right." She got lightheaded, the woman in the vest said from beside the door. "We just wanted someone to come get her." She didn't fall all the way. All the way. Marion set the water down too hard. "I can speak." Dana looked at the woman. "Thank you." "I'm okay," Marion said louder this time. Dana did not correct her. That was new. She only nodded once and said to the woman, "Can we have a minute?" The woman looked from Dana to Marion, then nodded. "Sure, I'll be right outside." The door closed. The vending machine hummed against the wall. Marion looked down at her hands. Her name tag had shifted crooked on her shirt again. She reached to straighten it. Dana watched the movement. "Don't," Marion said. "I didn't say anything. You were going to." Dana pulled out the chair across from her and sat down, not standing over her, not pacing, sitting. Chloe stayed near the door at first, then came to the end of the table. She did not sit. Sitting would have felt like choosing a side. "I can drive myself home," Marion said. "No," Dana said. There was no heat in it. That made it harder to fight. "My car's outside. I'll come back for it tomorrow. I need it." "Not tonight." Marion looked at Chloe, but Chloe did not help. She only looked down. Dana placed her hands flat on the table. "Did you eat?" Marion almost lied. The word yes came up clean and quick. Then she remembered Dana asking in the kitchen, with the bills open and the blue shirt on Marion's body. Back then, Marion had said enough. Now, sitting under the break room lights with a paper cup of water in front of her, even that answer felt too heavy to lift. "I don't remember," she said. Dana closed her eyes. Just for a second. When she opened them, she looked older than 43. "Okay," Dana said. That was all. No lecture, no sharp breath, no "I told you so." Just that one word held carefully. Marion wished suddenly that Dana would get angry. Anger would let her stand up inside herself. This quiet did not. Chloe pulled out a chair and sat at the corner of the table. "Do you want crackers?" she asked. Marion looked at her. Chloe swallowed. "There's a vending machine." "No, baby." The word slipped out before Marion could stop it. Chloe's face changed, softening and breaking at once. Dana looked at the floor. For a while, they sat with the store sounds muffled through the door. Scanners, voices, carts. The ordinary rhythm of people buying things late at night. Marion touched the name tag again. "I didn't want you here," she said. Dana looked up. Marion kept her eyes on the plastic tag. "No, not like this." Dana did not answer right away. "I know," she said finally. "You don't know. Maybe not." That surprised Marion. Dana's voice was rough when she spoke again. "I know I didn't want to get a call from a stranger saying my mother almost went down at work. I didn't almost go down." Chloe made a small sound. Dana looked at Marion, not sharply, just tired. "Mom." Marion looked away. The room blurred a little, but not from dizziness this time. She fixed her eyes on the vending machine buttons. B7, C3, D2. Chips behind glass, candy bars in metal coils, crackers that cost too much for what they were. "I had it handled," Marion said. Dana did not answer quickly. Then she said no. The word was soft. It still hurt. Marion nodded once, as if answering something else. "I thought if I came to you," she said, and stopped. Dana waited. So did Chloe. Marion rubbed the edge of the name tag with her thumb. The plastic corner was sharp. She tried again. "I don't know how to be in your house like that," she said. "In that little room. With you checking if I took my pills, asking if I ate, telling Chloe to turn the TV down because Grandma's resting." Dana's face tightened. Marion kept going before she lost the nerve. "I know you don't mean it ugly." "I don't." "I know," Marion looked at her then. "But I hear it ugly anyway." Dana looked down at her hands. Marion had not said the whole thing. Not cleanly, but maybe clean was not possible. "When you were little, I knew what to do," Marion said. "Not always, but enough. Pay this, cook that. Get up, go to work, call the school, fix your hair, sit with you when you had a fever." Chloe wiped under one eye with her sleeve. Marion looked at Dana, then away again. "Now I don't know what I am if I'm the one needing." The sentence sat in the room. It was not elegant. It was not enough. But it was closer to the truth than anything Marion had said before. Dana's eyes had gone wet, but she did not cry. "You're my mother," Dana said. Marion almost smiled, but it would have broken too fast. Dana shook her head a little as if correcting herself before Marion could. "I know that doesn't fix it." Marion looked at her. Dana leaned back in the chair. She seemed to search for words, then gave up on finding perfect ones. "When you hide everything," Dana said, "I don't know where to stand. I'm not your daughter in those moments. I'm just somebody finding out after. Marion did not answer. Dana rubbed her forehead with 2 fingers. I don't want to be in charge of you. Marion's mouth tightened. I don't, Dana said. I want to know before a store has to call me. The break room door opened a crack. The woman in the vest looked in. Everything okay? Dana turned. Yes, thank you. I'm going to take her home. I can finish my shift, Marion said. All 3 of them looked at her. The woman in the vest did not laugh. That was kind. No, ma'am, she said. Not tonight. Marion looked at the table. Not tonight. The words felt like defeat. But under that was something else, too small to name. Dana stood. Where are your things? In my locker. I'll get them, Chloe said. Marion started to object, but Chloe was already moving. Then she stopped at the door and looked back. Which one? Marion gave her the number. Chloe left. Dana remained standing beside the table. Marion reached into the pocket of her light jacket, hanging on the back of the chair. Her fingers found the key ring. House key, car key, mailbox key. The small brass key Dana already had a copy of. The newer one for the bottom lock, the lock Marion had started using after her husband died. She pulled it from the ring with some trouble. Her fingers did not want to work the split metal circle. Dana noticed, but did not offer to help. Good, Marion thought. The key finally came free. She held it in her palm. Dana looked at it. What's that? The bottom lock? Dana's face changed. You don't have that one, Marion said. No, I know. Dana waited. Marion placed the key on the table between them. I'm not selling my house tonight. Dana gave a breath that was almost a laugh and almost something else. Nobody's selling anything tonight. And you're not calling people without me. No. You're not going through my things. No. Marion looked at her. Dana nodded. Okay. Tomorrow, Marion said, the words stiff in her mouth. You can come over. We'll look at the papers. Dana's face shifted carefully, like a person seeing a door open and afraid to step too hard. Okay. Not tonight. Not tonight. Chloe came back with Marion's purse and the tote bag from her locker. She set them on the table, then noticed the key. Her eyes moved from Marion to Dana. No one explained it. Marion stood slowly. Dana moved as if to help, then stopped herself. Marion put one hand on the table. Her balance returned after a second. Then, because she needed it, and because she was too tired to make a performance of not needing it, she let her other hand rest briefly on Dana's forearm. Dana went still. It lasted only long enough for Marion to steady herself. Still, it happened. They walked out through the store together. Marion kept her chin up. She did not want customers to see her being led out like a child. Dana walked beside her, not holding her. Chloe walked on the other side with Marion's purse against her chest. At the front doors, the automatic sensors opened them into the night. The Phoenix air was warm and dry, almost gentle after the cold store. Marion's car sat under a parking lot lamp, but Dana led them toward her own. Marion began. Dana looked at her. Marion stopped. The word drive stayed behind her teeth. Chloe opened the back door and got in. Dana opened the passenger door. Marion stood there for a moment, looking at the seat. It felt like a small thing. It was not. She got in. Before Dana closed the door, Marion reached for the name tag and unclipped it. Her fingers worked the plastic clasp slowly. Once it came free, the fabric relaxed where it had been pulled all night. She placed the name tag in her lap. Then, after a moment, she unbuttoned the blue polo. Underneath, she still wore the thin undershirt she had put on at home. Dana looked away while Marion eased the uniform shirt off her shoulders. No one spoke. Marion folded the polo across her lap, smoothing the collar once, then again. Dana got into the driver's seat. Chloe sat behind them, silent. For a while, the car did not move. Dana held the steering wheel with both hands. You want the air higher? She asked. No. You sure? Marion looked through the windshield at the store entrance, bright and ordinary. Yes. Dana nodded and put the car in reverse. They drove out of the parking lot without passing Marion's car. Marion saw it as they turned, her old sedan sitting under the lamp, waiting with no one in it. Tomorrow, someone would have to come back for it. Tomorrow, there would be papers on the kitchen table. Tomorrow, the house would still be in trouble. Nothing had been solved. The bills had not shrunk. The mortgage company had not disappeared. Her feet still throbbed inside her shoes. Her pride sat somewhere in the car with them, bruised and breathing. But Dana was driving. Chloe was in the back seat. And Marion, with the folded uniform resting on her knees, let herself be taken home.